Howdy folks, and welcome to another episode of Mingles with Jingles. This is our third take of this episode of Mingles with Jingles because the first time I forgot to turn the microphone on. We must have recorded a good 20 minutes.
Of good conversation.
With no sound.
Yes.
Yeah. Bunch of people were saying, bunch of comments from the last episode, which by the way is nearly at 100,000 views, which is astonishing for an episode of Mingles with Jingles, which normally gets anything between 35,000 and 50,000 views. So this format seems to be quite popular.
Yeah.
So obviously the green screen didn't work because apparently you have to light a green screen properly. My software, video editing software, can key 3 different colours. So hopefully I've only got 3 really distinct shades of green going on here. Obviously we've got some shadows going on behind us, but anyway, we'll see. Probably not going to work. I'm probably just going to do picture-in-picture the way we did last week, but anyway. Also, people were saying that there was a bit of a hiss in the background noise, and that was basically from the camera's built-in microphone. But I've got the shotgun mic up there now. God damn it, cat! Calm yourself.
She's been crazy ever since we started recording.
Yeah, the cats have been sleeping all day. The second I switch the camera on, there she goes. But yeah, if the shotgun mic doesn't work, and it should, I guess I'll go with the lapel, the throat mics.
Or I have my Rode microphone there. I can record, put a little table in front of us, in the center, so the sound is all omnidirectional. I hate that word.
Or I can go with the lavalier mics.
Alright, we can also try that.
Anyway, so hopefully the sound works, hopefully the green screen works, but I know at least something's going to have gone wrong. And it will end up just being the same as last week, with picture-in-picture against whatever. But
we'll get there.
Also, people were very curious as to what was inside your whiskey glass.
I kept the bottle here, because we already talked about this. I had a berry brose and red cognac. Let me get it closer so you can see, hopefully. That's what I've got. It's really nice. It's really nice.
Didn't like it at first, did you?
No, it really grew on me. Because there's no more whiskey in the house.
Why is there no more whiskey in the house, Rita?
Because I gave it a very thorough taste test. I'm stuck at home. I need to find ways to stay entertained.
Also, everybody was very... all the Expanse fans came out in recognition of my Mars Congressional Republic Navy t-shirt. I'm just saying, Ross and Auntie, you know.
He's a big fan.
Big fan of the Expanse. Maybe next week I'll be able to dig my Remember the Cant t-shirt out as well. OPA. Anyway, so yeah, that's basically the roundup from last week. Last week was a very slow gaming news week, wasn't it?
It was.
This week isn't really any different. Apparently Star Citizen, which has been in alpha for 10 years. Just think about that for a minute. And ask yourself, I was 40, right? When development or the Kickstarter started on Star Citizen. You were 18?
How could I have been 18 at the time? Because I'm a backer.
Well,
how long was it for?
You didn't have to get in on the original Kickstarter.
Alright. Because I am a backer.
There have been a lot of Kickstarters.
Oh, I see.
They keep asking for more money, but Star Citizen's just turning into a meme.
Yeah.
I mean, vaporware? Well, not vaporware, because there is a game, kind of. They've got planets, spaceports, the stuff to do, the shops you can buy at, but apparently it is laggy as all fuck. And one of the things, again, I'm no programmer, I don't. There's stuff going on between the client and the server, and it's not very stable. And you've got a lot of rubber banding, and in areas where there are more than like 10 people, things get bad. And one of the things that was due to be fixed, this was one of the things that was due to be addressed in the next alpha build, 4.0 or 0.4. There's a 4 in it, whatever. The roadmap goals have all shifted, or just gone. People are getting very upset because stuff that was supposed to be coming out in the next patch either isn't, or has just been delayed.
I mean, there's a lot of things being delayed in the gaming
Yeah.
world, but it's
It's one of those, it's like, wow, look, Star Citizen's been delayed again. It's easy to point and laugh,
yeah.
but it's not really surprising that things are missing. Things aren't coming out as they were expected to be, and the roadmap's slipping, given what's going on in the world at the moment.
Exactly.
But still, alpha for 10 years. How old were you when Star Citizen was announced? Holy shit. So yeah, Star Citizen, still not coming out. That's how slow a news week it's been.
I mean, Chris Roberts, it's the name, isn't it?
Yeah.
For some reason, I keep on mixing Chris Roberts with John Romero. I don't understand why.
Well, there are many similarities.
I don't know why, but in my brain.
Both of them promise the world and deliver little.
Oh my god.
Chris Roberts, of course. The first Chris Roberts game I played was on the Commodore Amiga 500, when Wing Commander, the original Wing Commander, you're going to have to Google it or go to a library or an archaeological site, was ported to the Commodore Amiga. And it was amazing. All pixel graphics, there was no 3D or any of that rubbish. But anyway, it was great. And then I got my first PC to play Star Wars X-Wing. It was supposed to be coming out on the Amiga as well. And then they said, nah, PC only. So I said, right, sold my Amiga, bought a PC. And then when I first upgraded my PC, I had a 486 DX2, which will mean nothing to anybody less than 35 to 40 years old. That was the processor. It was a 486 processor, overclocked. Anyway, and I got that so that I could properly play his Strike Commander game, which was a game about a mercenary jet fighter squadron, and it was awesome. And then, of course, he did more Wing Commander games, and this is when CD-ROM drives were starting to come out. So they thought, we've got all this space on the CD, what shall we put on it? Full motion video. And so everybody was doing interactive movies. I have to stop this. Apparently this is something boomers do a lot. Interactive movies. So was it Wing Commander 4, I think, starred Mark Hamill and Roddy McDowall, and I can't remember his name, but he played Biff Tannen, the baddie in the Back to the Future movies. Yeah. And they were really good. And then Chris Roberts kind of got a bit too big for his boots. Decided that he was a big shot Hollywood director, went away to Hollywood to make movies, and made a Wing Commander movie, and it sucked. I mean, it was so bad. It was like the plot was like a make your own adventure book. It was that obvious. Anyway,
did it have big names in it as well?
Yeah, Jürgen Prochnow was in it, and Freddie Prinze Jr. was in it. He married Sarah Michelle Gellar, Buffy.
Oh,
the Vampire
yes,
Slayer.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
And he was in Scream, and I think the remake of Beverly Hills 902. Whatever. Right. Anyway, he's not a bad actor, but this was. Oh, and Matthew Lillard as well, who was the really, really excitable one in Scream. Anyway, terrible movie. And then nothing was heard of him for a few years, and then suddenly, bang, Star Citizen. And then 10 years later, still nothing. So, yeah. Like I said, it's easy to kick Star Citizen, but you name me a game that hasn't had stuff slip because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah. In this week's news, Star Citizen still isn't out.
Yeah. I had the game for a long time downloaded in my game.
I've still got it installed. I haven't looked at it in months.
And then there was this one patch when the only thing they added was 2 white towels to my bedroom.
Yeah. Or a bottle of whiskey in your locker.
Yes. I'm like, you know what? I'll be back later. So it's been installed for a couple of years now.
Well, anyway. Speaking of games that promise a lot but deliver little, you've been playing a lot of Fallout 76 this week, haven't you, Rita?
Yeah.
And the Wastelander patch.
Yes.
introduced non-player characters and quests and stuff to do other than wander an empty landscape and getting killed by ghouls that are way too powerful. And you had quite an interesting encounter with one of those non-player characters, didn't you, Rita?
Well, there are now zone events where you can participate with other players and NPCs, and I was, killing stuff, and one of the monsters came at me.
Oh, actually, we should probably explain what a corpse run is first.
All right, you tell them.
For those of you who don't know what
yes.
For those of you who don't play MMOs and you don't know what a corpse run is, when you die in an MMO, it's obviously not game over. And different MMOs have different ways of dealing with how you get back to life from being killed. And generally speaking, a lot of them have you doing a corpse run. So World of Warcraft, which is like, the one that everybody plays, aside from all those of you who don't play it and have never played it. There's two ways. So if you die when you're out in the world, you respawn as a ghost in front of the spirit healer at the nearest graveyard to wherever you died. You then have two choices. You can either resurrect at the graveyard, but then you get resurrection sickness, which reduces all your stats to 10% or 25%. Well, anyway, do not get involved in any fights when you're suffering from resurrection sickness. You'll die. So you basically got a 10-minute timeout for the convenience of just coming back to life at the graveyard. Or, as a ghost, you can run back to your corpse. Nobody can loot your corpse. Right? It's not like other games where, like Fallout 76, where when you're dead and you're running back to where you died, anybody can help themselves to the stuff on your body. In World of Warcraft, it's perfectly safe. But when you get there, you get close enough to your body, it gives you the option to resurrect. You resurrect with all of your stuff, although it's taken some damage because you died. And that's it. Other games have you run back to your corpse alive, but stark naked, because all of your stuff's on the corpse, and obviously you are very vulnerable when that happens. How does at which point you get back to your corpse and then you can get all your stuff and re-equip it, and that was the way that's the most old-fashioned way of doing it.
Yes.
How does it work in Fallout 76, Rita?
In Fallout 76, when you die, you lose all your junk items. And junk items, it's not really like junk in other games, because you can
very
scrap.
Valuable stuff.
It's valuable. You need to repair your guns, repair your armor, build your home. That's what you need to keep yourself going in the game. And when you die, there's a little paper bag, and if you are feeling fancy, you can go to the store, give Bethesda some money, and get some fancier bags you can collect your stuff from. Anyways, drops a paper bag, and with all your junk in there. And in this event run I was doing, I died because one of the NPCs just suddenly one hit killed me out of nowhere, because it happens a lot. And I run back. Oh, my stuff! I have screws there. Like I really need my screws. It's really low. It's fine. It's like I really need my screws, because screws are really a rare commodity in that game at the moment. And to make the
screws.
Yes, you really need screws. And I come back, and there was another player in the instance. By the way, I'm horrible at telling stories. And I go back to my junk bag, to my dead where I died, and my stuff was missing. Like there was.
Somebody had taken all of your stuff.
Yes.
Who was it, Rita?
Well, there was only me and then one other person, so I automatically assume it was the other person, because that does happen in the game. People do steal your junk.
And you may or may not have done it yourself.
Yes. That's how I know that other people do it.
See, I knew something had happened, because I was in the man cave and I heard her screaming at the monitor from 2 rooms away. So carry on with the story.
Anyways, I look at my bag, my stuff was missing, my screws were missing, and I just press on caps lock, which is shat on the instance.
Chat, not shat. Shat is something that you don't want to know.
Oh yeah, I get
it. I got so drunk I shat myself.
Oh, I get it now. I need to work on that.
You do, yes. Because there's no ch sound in the Portuguese language. So Churchill. That's what she says.
Churchill.
Churchill. Yeah. So anyway, so there you go. That's why.
Churchill.
See? It's like getting a German to say squirrel.
Yeah.
Anyway, go
Anyways, I press on caps lock to
chat.
Chat.
To talk.
To talk.
Yeah.
To the other person, it's like, you cheeky wanker! You stole my stuff, give it back!
You said it there. Cheeky.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah. She can do it. Anyway, go on.
And I killed him to get my stuff back, but my stuff wasn't in his body either.
So what had he done with it?
Well, he didn't done anything to it.
You mean he didn't steal your stuff?
No.
And you killed him for it?
Yes.
And did he come back?
He came back and
Did you kill him again?
2 more times.
What had happened to Rita's stuff is with the Wastelanders patch for Fallout 76, the patch that adds, non-player characters, quests, and an actual fucking story.
Yeah.
The kind of things that players tolerate Bethesda's buggy messes for. And these non-player characters are thieves. They will loot your bodies. But they don't have an inventory
No.
that all of your stuff goes into. They're non-player characters that have a certain loot table. So they might have a couple of screws and maybe a gear and
Yep.
and some pre-war money on them. They don't have your stuff. When they loot your stuff, it's gone forever.
Yep.
You can kill them, you're not going to get your stuff back. So, GG Bethesda, you managed to fuck up the Wastelanders patch.
I only found out that this was a bug a day later after this happened. I see on the news, I was like, oh. So whoever this guy is, I am so deeply sorry for killing you so many times. But the thing is, there's an extra layer to this.
Oh, well,
There's
there
an
would be,
extra
wouldn't
layer. Because not only the NPCs are stealing the junk, apparently, this was not really reported, because it happened to me. My junk disappeared.
It's a good job I didn't say that. Yeah, my junk disappeared.
Come on.
Go on.
But they also steal your weapons.
Oh yes, they steal all your stuff.
Yes. There is video of this guy that he had an amazing, I think it was a minigun, and he died. The NPC stole the gun from him, was firing with the gun, and there's this thing in Fallout that just because you see an NPC firing with an amazing looking gun, it's not gonna show in its inventory.
It's not on the NPC's loot table. even though he's
though
standing
he's
there with it,
what it stole from you,
you can't steal it from him.
You can take it back.
No, it's gone forever. So, basically, until Bethesda fix this, and no doubt introduce another half dozen bugs into the game in the process, basically, don't go anywhere dangerous where you might die, and if you do, don't take your best stuff with you.
But Paul, it's not a bug, it's a feature.
So, Fallout 76 doing Fallout 76 things.
Yes.
Again. Moving on swiftly. Apparently, Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike Global Offensive source code, or parts of Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike Global Offensive source code, has been leaked.
Ooh.
And people were getting very, very concerned because with access to the source code you can introduce all kinds of malware.
Yep.
And but Valve have taken a look at the code that leaked and they've assured everybody, nah, it's fine, it's not a problem. So
yeah.
Tick that one off. I actually write stuff down, by the way.
Boomer.
Because fuck off. Because I don't need to recharge my notebook.
It's not charged.
Yeah.
I forgot to charge it. No, never mind.
Rita, this is a notebook.
Oh, I thought you meant the tablet.
Oh my god.
So
I
sorry.
realise that notebook PCs exist, but long before notebook PCs existed, notebooks existed.
I thought you meant
And
the other.
you can probably, most people would guess that the notebook in my hand that I'm writing in is the one that I was referring to when I said notebook.
Oh, please, it's one of those days. Spare me this time.
And I realise this may be shocking to a millennial like you,
Yeah.
but notebooks don't need recharging.
Alright. Alright. Let's move on to the subject.
Right. Oh yes, new area open in the World of Warcraft Shadowlands Alpha, which I've been playing. I think it's called Revendreth New Zone. You can now create level 57 characters and start in this new zone, and it's all very undeady and grim and gothic and
I'm crying from laughing.
wasn't that funny? Yeah, specifically designed to appeal to the kind of people that like to go and sit in graveyards at midnight and write really depressing poetry. So yeah, there's that. I've been playing it. It's all right. It's not really grabbing me though. But apparently, I haven't reached a high enough level where I can start exploring the new Covenant abilities, which I should probably play some more to get to see it before rendering final judgment. But I'm in the alpha, although I have been spending. Because World of Warcraft have a double experience event going on, which they've extended into May.
Okay.
So I've been leveling. Look, I'm not going to go on about World of Warcraft all day, but if you generate an allied race character and you get it all the way up to level 110 without cheating and buying a level boost, then you unlock heritage armor and mounts and all. So I've been trying to do this. And with this double XP thing, it's been so easy. Like yesterday, I had a Nightborn Warlock who was level 55. Today she's level 76. So,
but what's the level cap in the game?
The minute 120.
All right.
But when the new expansion comes out, they're cutting it in half. They're making it 60.
Fair enough.
They're compressing everything. It's not the first time they've done this. Although it's
No.
the first time they've changed the levels, but they've compressed the numbers before, because if they hadn't done this number compression, I can remember during vanilla World of Warcraft like 15 years ago, and I got so happy the very first time my mage cast a frostbolt and did more than 1,000 damage, and now I'm doing 500,000 damage.
Wow.
So
inflation.
It's number inflation.
Yes.
So yeah, they're compressing or they're de-inflating
A
all
lot,
the numbers.
a lot of
and stats.
MMORPGs do that. It's level inflation.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to do in the game. Just add more levels, and that's it. So just give.
And then the
low-
numbers keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yes, yes.
So I mean, it just gets ridiculous. I mean, it was bad enough.
Mm-hmm.
I remember. Oh God, I'm getting seriously off topic here, but there's a place in the Barrens, which is one of the zones, and it's a kind of horde zone. It's called the Crossroads, and it literally sits on a crossroad, and it's a horde outpost. And high-level alliance players used to, because it's also a low-level zone, so high-level alliance players would raid the Crossroads and just slaughter all of the noobs who were too stupid to not fight back.
Poor buggers.
Because unless you're playing on a PvP server, in which case you get what you ask, you get what you deserve. But usually the newbies are too dumb's not the right word, but too inexperienced to know that if they don't, as long as they don't fight back, they can't be touched, because player versus player combat is consensual in World of Warcraft. You have to fight back, at which point you become, anybody can attack you. So high level alliance characters would just storm into the Crossroads and start killing the NPCs, the flight master, the vendors and all that sort of thing, and all the noobs would be like, oh, ding, I did 3 damage, yeah, I've got 5,000 health. And start one-shotting noobs all over the place.
But just to get back to point.
Good, because I've forgotten what the point was, so please remind me.
The alpha.
Oh right, yeah.
Yes. It looks really good. I mean, I don't play it, but it looks really good.
Yeah, the
I like the ambience.
The zone that I played in last week was called Bastion, and it's very sort of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Fields of Elysium, DLC themed. It's all very Greek. Greek angels, if that makes sense. Anyway, and this new zone is all very, gothic and undead and vampire-y, and be very popular with the type of crowd that likes to sit in graveyards at midnight writing really, really bad poetry and cutting their wrists. So, like I say, the game's designed to appeal to as many different sections of society as possible.
Yes, it's true.
Oh, yeah, more news. Xcom 2 is free for a week on Steam until the 30th of April. Actually, also on Xbox One. So for those of you who have an Xbox One, XCOM 2 until the 30th of April, free to play.
Is it because of current events?
It's probably because of that, and also XCOM Chimera Squad just came out,
Alright.
which is a new DLC.
Because I can't remember the company. I mean, there's the guys who make it, and then there's the guys who publish it. Tomb Raider.
Oh,
They have been
yeah.
amazing during this time.
I don't know who the publisher is. I
I
don't
think
even know who the
Square
developer
Enix?
is. Is it Square? I think, yeah, it is Square Enix.
I think it's Square Enix,
I don't know
yeah.
if they're the developer or the publisher or both.
Yeah.
Because it, to me, Tomb Raider is by Core Design, the guys that made the original Tomb Raider, and then Eidos, who published it. But it's gone through so many different hands over the years. I don't know.
Anyways, they make their game, their latest Tomb Raider game, free to play, and they have made amazing discounts of all their collection of Tomb Raider
Yeah, and I've got
just for this current time.
on PlayStation 4 we got Tomb Raider free.
Yeah,
It's
on
just
PC
there.
as well, on Steam.
I mean, they do PS Plus or PS Now. You get
Mm.
like 2 free games every month. On one, I can't remember which is which, and then on the other, there's a whole bunch. Obviously, costs you more monthly subscription, but there's a whole bunch, like hundreds of free games, and not all old ones. But that's not what this is. This is just nothing to do with any subscriptions that you have on PlayStation 4 network. It's just a free game for a limited time, obviously. So there's that. And yeah, I've been playing XCOM Chimera Squad. You never played the XCOM games, did you?
It's not my kind of game.
Yeah.
I like to watch you play it, but it's just not my
Well,
kind of tea.
Chimera Squad, because at the end of XCOM 2, you won the war and you beat Advent, and so the aliens were no longer in control.
Mhm.
But all of those aliens didn't go anywhere. They're still on Earth. They're just not in charge. So Chimera Squad is what happens after. You know, you've got to integrate these aliens
Alright.
into society. And so instead of being a squad of humans fighting against the aliens, Chimera Squad is all of these aliens who've been integrated into society. So all of the people that you were fighting in the original XCOM games
Mhm.
are now members of your squad,
Alright.
fighting against subversives and what have you. It's not bad. It's kind of more of the same, but they've tried to do something different with the breach mechanics. You know, games like Rainbow Six Siege,
Yes.
where you the actual fighting is important, but setting up and breaching and how you get into the room is as important. They've introduced that sort of thing, which isn't as complicated as it sounds, and it isn't as big a deal as it sounds, because you've basically got a number of different possible breach points into the room. And they, how can I put this? Let's say, for example, I'll give you an example. Like I say, I kind of like XCOM Chimera Squad, but I kind of don't as well, and this is one of the reasons why. So, you've got 3 possible ways of getting into this room. You've got a squad of 4. You can send them all in through one entrance, or split them up. Some entrances might be only accessible if you have a key card or a breaching charge, or if you're a certain race. You get the idea. It's not that straightforward. But each separate entrance has different pluses and minuses associated with it. And they're so incredibly arbitrary. Like, if you go in through this door, then the last person through the door is immobile for 1 turn.
Why? Yes. Yeah.
Why? It just doesn't make any sense.
Just imagine that happening in real life.
Yeah, they don't give a reason
just
for it
doesn't-
or anything. It's not. I could get it if, you know, this door is. It doesn't shut properly.
Yes.
So you kick the door open, everybody gets in, and then the door, you know, closes
Don't
again.
stab me with that, please.
Okay. Sorry.
Thank you.
And then the door closes again, because it's that kind of door. You know, it only opens for a couple of seconds. So the last person through gets his foot stuck. I know that sounds crap, but it would make sense. But there's no reason given. It's just if you go through this door, the last person through is immobile for one turn. So he kicks the door in, runs inside, and then is stuck there in the open in a room full of No, I'm not going through that door. You know, it's just stuff like that.
It's like having a bad Dungeons and Dragons master.
Yes, it's like why? Because reasons. Yes. Literally, the answer is because reasons. So yeah, I mean that might not bother you, but it really gets on my nerves. So yeah, but otherwise it seems pretty good. And I have been incredibly bad at it.
By the way, on that kind of point and click games, there is one game I really, really love. Divinity Original Sin by Larian Studios.
It's totally not.
But it's like a point and click. It's not the same thing, but it's kind of similar.
Okay, so it's an isometric view. A top-down isometric view, but one's a tactical turn-based shooter.
I know.
And the other's a role-playing game.
It's the closest thing to Xcom that I like to play, and it's just
Divinity Original Sin 2.
It's just so
is
good.
An amazingly good game.
Do
you remember that? Okay, those of you who played this game will probably know what I'm talking about.
I like how when you want to make a point, you click the pen. Go on. All right.
So, there's an area where they're drilling for tar. There's oil everywhere.
Yes.
And if a surface is one of the things in Divinity Original Sin 2 is that there are surface effects. So there can be water, mud, oil, and they act in exactly the way that you would expect them to.
Yeah.
So for example, if somebody's standing in water and you hit them with a fireball, that water will turn to steam. Now that'll put the fire out, but the steam is another problem that
There's
the person.
Elements.
Yeah, elemental damage. So if somebody's standing in a pile of oil and you hit them with a fireball, they're going to have a big problem because all of the oil is going to light up. So there's this one encounter and quest that you're doing, which is right in the middle of an oil drilling platform, and there's oil coming through on the surface everywhere. And you spent how long? Because there's a guy in this mission that you have to keep alive, and it's nearly impossible to do it because he goes and runs off and tries to defend himself, but there's just fireballs going off everywhere and there's burning oil, and it's next to impossible to keep him alive. So what did you do, Rita?
I don't remember.
She went and grabbed every piece of junk that she could find for a mile in every direction and dropped it and tried to build barricades to block. You spent 4 hours.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yes.
Just to try to keep this idiot alive and stop him from running off.
God.
Trying to block off all of the places where he could run to, just to stop him from running off into a pile of oil and dying the second anybody cast a fireball.
Yeah, well that was...
Did it work?
I can't remember.
It didn't.
I can't...
She spent 4 hours doing this.
I do.
And he just jumped over the barricade. Or he found a gap or something that she'd missed.
I probably went ranting to you about this.
You did, yes.
Yes.
While we're on that subject, I read something in PC Gaming News this week. I don't know I didn't bother writing his name down because it wasn't his real name, it was his in-game name, and it was nearly impronounceable. Unpronounceable, not impronounceable. Anyway, somebody spent 15 hours over the course of 2 weeks in Death Stranding, which should have been out for PC by now, but has been delayed until July. 15 hours over the course of 2 weeks building a massive bridge in a snow-covered area, just so, and you can do this in Death Stranding, just so he could piss his name into the snow.
No.
Yes.
What a legend.
Respect.
That's something I'll see you doing.
I wouldn't have the patience for that. But yes, 15 hours of gameplay, building this bridge. Took him 2 weeks to do it, didn't do it all in one go. Just so he could, because you can piss in Norman Reedus' character in Death Stranding. He's got a very, very big bladder. His bladder can hold 1,000 millilitres of urine.
What?
Yes, it's that precise. It's about twice the size of a normal human bladder. So And when he pisses, stuff grows where he pisses. You'd have to play the game or watch videos of it to understand. I'm not going to go into details, but basically it grows and stays. So he kept going away and drinking after building this bridge, and then coming back and then pissing a couple of letters out. And then logging off and coming back and drinking and then running back to it and then finishing off the bits that he'd done before and then pissed a few more letters out. It took him 2 weeks, but he eventually managed to piss his name into the snow on this massive bridge that he built in Death Stranding.
That's determination.
That is, like I said, respect. So there's that. And yeah, Death Stranding was supposed to be out on PC by now, but hey, big surprise, it slipped until July, apparently. Oh, Fallout 76 might get pets.
Yes, I didn't
One of the lead game designers was saying, yeah, we might put pets in. God, I fucking hope not. Because if they make a bigger mess of it as they did in Fallout 4.
To be honest, pets are already in the game, but you cannot have them. NPCs have them. Multiple NPCs have dogs, not cats, unfortunately. There is a cat in Fallout 76.
Yes, outside the inn, just as you come.
Yes, I wish I could pet it. Yeah.
Because the companions, of which your dog was one that you could have.
Yes.
In Fallout 4 were the biggest pain in the... I like having them around for conversations because they would often have useful stuff to say. But when you're trying to sneak around someplace and they won't get out of the fucking doorway, so you're stuck in the office and there's a super mutant outside and
I use them as cannon fodder. It's just the best way to do things.
And they also can carry stuff for you.
Yeah.
But they just keep getting in the way. So please don't add pets to Fallout 76, because if you make as bad a job of it as you did in Fallout 4...
To be honest, the mechanics and the fighting situation in Fallout 76 are more rudimentary than they are in Fallout 4. So pets in Fallout 76 would probably be better than in Fallout 4.
Well, you're the expert. Did I mention that Xcom... I did mention that XCOM 2 is free for a week until the 30th of April.
I think you did.
Yes, pretty sure it is, because we're talking about
Chimera
Squad.
We just talked about it like 10 minutes ago. Yeah.
I didn't tick it off the list. Right. Oh, apparently cheating in Destiny 2 is up 50% since January.
Why do people...
So in 3 months, half again as many cheaters are running around in Destiny 2 as there were 3 months ago. And when we're talking cheats here, we're mostly talking about things like infinite ammunition and infinite energy for your weapons and stuff like that.
Alright. To be honest, getting ammunition for your weapons is sometimes a bit annoying in games.
I'm sure that's not the limit of the cheats that are being used.
I mean, I don't play that game, I don't know how it functions, but cheating is cheating at the end of the day, but yeah.
I got quite excited about Destiny 2. I have it. And how can I put this? On launch, it was fucking shit. It was so pay to win. It was ridiculous. Well, not so much that it was pay to win. It was just that it was one of those games. It wasn't quite as bad as when Star Wars: The Old Republic went free to play, where if you wanted to even talk to other people, you had to pay. If you wanted to carry things in your bags, you had to pay. Yeah, free to play? No. But Destiny 2 was pretty bad with the monetization that had been put into it. Apparently, it's a lot better. But the reason why it's so easy for people to cheat is because of the way the game's coded. You've got the client-server operations going on, and again, I'm not a programmer, but one of the developers was quoted as saying, and I'm not going to quote him exactly, but words to the effect of, we wanted Destiny 2 players to have that epic role-playing game experience with no lag, and we wanted you to feel like you were having epic PvE content even when other players were involved. And the way to do that was to have the majority of operations client side rather than server side. So
Alright.
basically, they made the game really fucking easy to hack.
Yeah.
And now, 50% more players are cheating than there were 3 months ago.
I mean, if such a big percentage of players are using cheats, I mean, that is very telling of...
Yeah, it's like with, well, your experience we talked about last week in Fallout 76, where the game was just so fucking hard to play because of the way it was designed to try to squeeze money out of you in order to get you to pay for convenience.
Yes, yeah.
And then bugs as well, of course, so that you got yourself a cheat that would allow you to just get past your zero inventory carry weight bug.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they patched the exploit, but
In
they
order
didn't
to try
fix
and
the
sell
bug.
it. Yeah.
You know, and then, oh, and by the way, here's stuff in the shop that will fix the problem for you. Oh, right, yeah, okay. So, yeah. So that happened.
That goes two ways. Like 50% is such a big percentage for people
Yeah.
to be cheating, and it's very telling of...
That it's mostly unlimited ammo and energy. So what's
Yes.
going on in Destiny 2 that people are that need so much ammunition?
Yeah, and why is it, so bad that people feel the need to be cheating?
Yeah.
It can be two ways, or it's because it's very, very annoying and hard to get, so development on that side, things have not been very well done, or...
It's like when a developer makes the game grindy
Yes.
so you can buy boosts.
Yes, exactly.
So they deliberately make the game grindy so they can sell you boosts.
Exactly.
Or is this what's happening? I don't know, because like I said, I haven't played Destiny 2.
And the other... Say, sorry.
Yeah, but if you do play Destiny 2, is there some sort of situation going on with ammunition that's so bad, that's causing so many people to start using cheats that give them infinite ammo? Is this a monetization thing that's biting the developers in the arse?
And another reason can be, if the next door neighbor is doing it, might as well I do it myself.
Yeah, well, it seems to be so...
Due to complacency from the development team.
Then again...
I'm not saying they don't like it, they don't want it,
Yeah.
they don't, you know what I mean.
Then again, the numbers... Because there's no actual numbers here, it's just a percentage. 50% more cheating. So, there were 2 people cheating in January, and now there are 3 people cheating. And that's a 50% increase.
Mm.
So, that is actually, that is trivial, that's nothing. I don't actually know what these numbers are, because the news article I read on PC Gamer's website just said 50% increase in cheating in Destiny 2. It might actually be trivial. I suspect probably not, otherwise PC Gamer probably wouldn't be reporting on it. But if you do play Destiny 2, what's going on? Because that, I'd like to know.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
And that just about is it. That's everything I wrote down to talk about. So... I need to get back to World of Warcraft, or painting that Orc Rager.
It looks so good.
Yeah, it's...
No, seriously, your skills, and everyone else and their moms is saying it. Your skills are getting so better so fast.
Just, Go on. Don't stop.
God damn it, you. No, but seriously, your skills are growing so fast.
There's still a way to go. I know that much. Yeah, I'm at the stage where I'm. I suppose I should probably stick some pictures up to show you what we're talking about. Although I did that last week anyway. You, anybody who cares already knows, and anybody who doesn't care, doesn't care. But I'm kind of approaching the plateau where, I started model painting again. Then I remember how to do this, and then, but then I'm reaching the limit of where it's easy to get better. Where there's still room for improvement, but it's harder to improve once you get to a certain point. And I've been painting an orc, a bust of an orc with 2 big stone axes, and he's got even his muscles have muscles. And I am so sick of painting green skin. I'm going to be glad when this one's done.
Thankfully, it's a small one.
Well, it's not that small.
Yeah, it's
You know,
same size as last week.
same size as young Jingles.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I guess that's it for this week's episode. I have no idea how long we've been going, but the battery on the camera's almost out.
We've been going for 44 minutes.
We go for 44 minutes, so a slightly shorter episode of Mingles with Jingles than the one you were used to last week. But yeah, we're done. I need to get some food down my neck. What do you fancy? Oh, we're nearly done. I forgot one thing. Speaking of food,
What?
I actually left the house today.
Oh yeah.
I went
You
to the
did.
shops. I went to the shops because there were two things that I needed. I needed some kind of pasta sauce that wasn't tomato based, because we got a shit ton of that, and I have these salmon fillets, and all of the pasta, because I'm not really a fan of tomatoes so
Yeah.
much. I mean, I don't mind tomato paste on a pizza and so on, but if I can have a pasta sauce that's not tomato based, that's what I prefer. So something cheesy works well with fish. So there's a cheese pasta sauce that we both like.
It's
And
really
the
good.
only place we can get it from is a supermarket called Marks and Spencer's, which is a bit more expensive than most, but their stuff is really, really good. So went around to Marks and Spencer's, and the other good thing about shopping at Marks and Spencer's is you've got a Lidl on one side, and the queue was like 100 metres long. On the other side, you've got a Home Warehouse, queue is 100 metres long. Next to that, there's a Iceland, queue is 100 metres long. And the queue outside Marks and Spencer's was 4 people, and I was one of them. Because it's a bit more expensive, but their stuff is really, really
It's harder
good.
times at the moment as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
So, but I only needed a couple of things. It was getting quite warm lately, so I thought I'll get some ice cream.
You got ice cream?
I thought I better get some ice cream, and
Oh yes.
and some pasta sauces, and then just a few other bits and pieces while I was in there. I bought some sausage rolls just for snacking on, and I got you some olives.
Oh, thank you. I survive on those.
Well, anyway, so I get in after queuing for a minute. No pasta sauce.
I mean, we can try and make our own at home with the raw ingredients, because
Well, yeah, but then I
stores
have to,
usually
but then
have
I,
those.
but then I have to buy milk, and we buy milk and it just gets wasted because we never ever use it all.
No.
But anyway, they had some like creamy mushroom pasta sauce, and I thought, I'll give that a go. But the cheesy pasta sauces didn't have any, so I was like, so anyway, great. The one thing I went out for, they didn't have, and then I got home and realised I hadn't bothered to get any ice cream either.
No.
So the only two things.
Paula!
The only two things I went out for are the two things that I didn't come back with.
No, I don't even want to look at you at the moment.
So we have no ice cream.
No.
And on that
My
bombshell,
hopes and dreams. Paula.
that's it for this week's episode of Mingles with Jingles. I'm in the doghouse now.
You are in the
Anyway.
cat house.
Ooh. Rita, do you know what a cat house is?
No.
A brothel.
I had no idea. The more you know. Life is all about growth.
Oh, actually, we were going to do a I forgot how to speak English.
Oh no.
We were going to do a millennials versus boomer thing
Yes.
in this episode, but plus I'm not even a boomer. I'm Generation X.
Okay, boomer.
Yeah, fuck off. that answer wins every argument.
Yes.
Having an argument with somebody older than you, just say, okay, boomer, and you win. And that's the most annoying thing about millennials. But anyway, what's a boomer, Rita? This is something I was thinking about. What anti-millennial things can I write down? And then I just thought, I've got it. Rita, what's a boomer?
A boomer
Yes.
is someone from the generation before you
Yes.
who did a lot of hunky-punky without contraception and had a lot of kids.
Wow, she actually knows. Do you know why it's called boomer?
Because of the booming with the child...
Yeah, booming
Graphs.
is not a,
No,
is
no, I'm
not a
not
word
saying
for.
that. No, of
She
course not.
actually knows that it's from the baby boom after
Yes.
World War II, 1944
We had it in Portugal as
to
well.
1965.
My great-grandmother...
Yeah, but you didn't have it between 1944 and 1965 because Portugal was neutral in World War II
Yes.
when they weren't selling tungsten to the Germans.
We are helping both sides. That's what neutral is. And then the Allies... We were also...
the oldest military alliance in history.
Well,
Britain and Portugal.
well, shouldn't come for
And
us
in
for the
World War
pink
II?
route.
And in World War II, they sold tungsten to our enemies.
Shouldn't have come for us in the 1910s or the pink route. You know? Just saying. In Africa. But we also sold it to the Allies And then England came to us in Second World War, and they were like, Portugal, you know, this Windsor Treaty that we only respect when we care about the things you're doing because it affects us. You need to stop selling to the Axis. I was like, all right, I'll stop selling, but I'll also stop selling to you. So that's what actually Portugal did.
So, moving on swiftly.
Yes. Don't get me passionate about the subject.
She's not wrong.
Yes.
And on that bombshell, that's it for this week's episode of Mingles.
Bye-bye, guys.
Hope you all enjoyed it, and stay safe, take care, and we'll catch you next time.